in sovereign energy, sacred boundaries, and relational prosperity. Quantum opening, a sovereign heart radiates a field so clear that love recognizes where to enter, where to rest, and where to grow. Section 1. Deep Gaze. The mythic architecture of boundaries. There is a river that lives in every being. It carries vitality, desire, memory, and mission. When this river flows without banks, it floods. When its banks are rigid stone, the river suffocates. Sacred boundaries are the living riverbanks of the soul. They do not imprison flow, they shape it. In the theater of inner archetypes, the sovereign rises with a simple decree. Life energy returns to its rightful throne. The lover bows without submission, carrying devotion that does not dissolve identity. The warrior offers presence without violence, a sword that points to clarity rather than punishment. The healer roots in compassion that includes the self. The mystic opens a sky window to the infinite while resting 2 feet on earth. Sovereignty is not isolation. It is communion without leakage. It is the vow that your core remains intact while your love becomes more generous, awake and discerning. Every yes becomes a blessing, and every no becomes a blessing. Your boundaries are not walls. They are musical scores that invite orchestras to tune. The journey of the soul has stations. In the first station, the child learns belonging. In the second, the adolescent seeks independence. In the third, the adult discovers interdependence. Sovereignty flowers in the third station. The heart learns to be a gate, not a hole. The mind learns to be a lighthouse, not a police siren. The body learns to be a temple, not a marketplace. A sovereign boundary carries 3 qualities. It is clear like mountain air. It is kind like warm bread. It is consistent like sunrise. Clarity honors truth. Kindness carries love. Consistency grows trust. Together they weave a field where intimacy can land, prosperity can circulate, and purpose can stabilize. Prosperity in relationships is a byproduct of energetic clarity. Prosperity arrives where energy is not leaking. Prosperity stays where rhythm is steady. Prosperity multiplies where agreements are explicit, lived and blessed. A sovereign being does not bargain with their dignity. A sovereign being does not delegate their intuition. A sovereign being does not dilute their mission to be liked. A sovereign being remembers that love expands most beautifully within forms that respect truth. Therefore, Section 2. Scientific and Psychological Foundations. Humanistic psychology places the person at the center of their potential. Authenticity, unconditional positive regard, and congruence summon a nervous system that trusts itself. Self-actualization is not a staircase of ego. It is the blossoming of essence through secure presence. Boundaries serve authenticity because they protect values. When values are protected, vitality rises. Transpersonal psychology includes the dimension of soul, archetype, and expanded states of consciousness. It acknowledges that personal history is a doorway, not a cage. Boundaries are not an obstacle to unity. They are an instrument that allows the human to metabolize the infinite without fracturing. When peak states meet grounded structure, wisdom ripens. Attachment patterns influence how boundaries form. Secure attachment cultivates flexible edges. Anxious patterns tend to overmerge. Avoidant patterns tend to overdistance. Earned security becomes possible through consistent self-attunement and safe relational practice. Boundaries are not punishment, they are oxygen for the relational fire. Neuroplasticity affirms the brain's capacity to reshape pathways. Each clear boundary uttered with calm conviction lays myelin on circuits of self-respect. Each misaligned agreement renegotiated teaches the amygdala that safety includes truth. Repetition builds neural grooves. Repetition whispered with kindness builds elegant neural grooves. Polyvagal wisdom reminds that safety is the soil of connection. A boundary delivered in a regulated tone carries far more effectiveness than a boundary delivered from collapse or attack. The social nervous system translates music more than grammar. Your tone is the first boundary. Your breath is the second. Your posture is the third. Values-based living transforms boundaries from rules into rituals. When a value meets a behavior, the behavior gains luminosity. For example, if devotion is a value, then answering messages within agreed windows becomes devotional timekeeping. If creativity is a value, Then silent mornings become sanctified laboratories. Values tell your calendar where to bow. PNL speaks the language of mind patterns. Submodalities, anchors, reframing, and future pacing translate ideals into embodied habits. Word sketch maps, somatic cues animate those maps. When the inner movie of a boundary becomes vivid, bright, and close, the body treats it as real. When the inner soundtrack of self-worth grows steadier than the soundtrack of people-pleasing, choice returns. Nasei, Section 3. Biodecoding in practice. When the body speaks the unspoken. The body is a scripture written in living ink. It remembers what the mind edits. It signals where agreements need repair. The following associations are possibilities, not rigid laws, offered as contemplative bridges. Throat tension or recurring hoarseness often echoes unspoken no's and forced yeses. Liberation route, voice hygiene, humming on exhale, boundary scripts practiced aloud, and micro-celebrations after each clear expression. Solar plexus knots or acid reflux may reflect chronic hypervigilance around pleasing or bracing for conflict. Liberation route, warm hands over solar plexus, diaphragmatic breathing, clear request templates, and scheduled pauses after commitments. Lower back fatigue sometimes mirrors burdens carried without agreement or roles accepted without consent. Liberation route, renegotiation rituals, weight-bearing movements to reframe support, and written inventories of energy leaks. Skin breakouts or rashes may signify a boundary of contact needing refinement. Liberation route, sensory boundaries, detox from overexposure to stimulation and intentional touch agreements. Jaw clenching often stores unvoiced limits. Liberation route, softening rituals, candle breath exhalations through the mouth, and a vow to express limits before midnight each day. Biodecoding honors that symptom and psyche dance together. This is not a substitute for medical care. It is a complementary listening practice. When an emotion receives a movement, a breath, and a sentence, the symptom often softens its volume. The body does not sabotage. The body safeguards truth until truth can be spoken with love. Meta says, Section 4, Quantum NLP Toolkit, Step-by-Step Repatterning. Tool 1, Energetic Audit in 12 minutes. 1. Sit with an upright spine. 2. Name 3 core values for the next 90 days. 3. List 5 ongoing commitments and rate each from 0 to 10 for alignment with those values. 4. Circle anything below 7. 5. Decide. Renegotiate, delegate, complete, or release. 6. Schedule 1 micro-action per circled item within the next 48 hours. Tool 2. Boundary Script Architecture. Context. Name the sphere. Value. Name the why. Limit. State the non-negotiable. Offer. Present an alternative. Closure. Bless the relationship. Example. Context. About response times on messaging. Value. Deep presence with clients and family. Limit. Replies only between 10 and 12 and 16 and 18. Offer. Urgent matters by voice note. Titled, Urgent Closure. Gratitude for honoring this rhythm. Tool 3. Submodality. Brightening for self-respect. 1. Recall a moment when you set a healthy limit. 2. Make the inner image larger, nearer, and brighter. 3. Increase the volume of the supportive inner voice. 4. Breathe into the chest and expand warmth on inhale. 5. Anchor by pressing thumb to middle finger and silently utter sovereign now. 6. Repeat until the anchor fires a felt sense of dignity within 3 breaths. Tool 4. The sovereign swish. 1. Identify the old pattern image, such as nodding yes while the body says no. 2. Position that image far, dim, and small. 3. Create a new image of you naming a clear limit with calm eyes and soft shoulders. 4. Swish by letting the new image sweep across and replace the old in under 1 second. 5. Repeat 10 times. 6th test by imagining a similar scenario and notice the automatic posture of clarity. Tool 5. Somatic microboundaries. Lips gently closed unless you mean yes. Shoulders back and down as the signal of self-ownership. Knees unlocked to avoid fight-flight-freeze bias. 1 conscious breath before agreeing. Hand on heart when naming a limit to recruit oxytocin-fueled warmth. Tool 6. Future pacing the relational calendar. 1. Choose 3 recurring boundary moments for the week. 2. Mentally rehearse each with clear imagery, stable tone, and compassionate gaze. 3. Place a somatic anchor, such as a bracelet twist, at the start of each rehearsal. 4. Live the week and activate the anchor at the exact moments. 5. Journal 1 line per moment to reinforce learning. Tool 7. The Prosperity Gate. 1. Define prosperity as energy in circulation aligned with essence. 2. Identify 1 leak in money, 1 in time, 1 in attention. 3. Close each leak with a boundary that includes a blessing. 4. Redirect saved energy toward a value-aligned creation within 72 hours. Tool 8. Reframe Matrix. From rule to ritual, from fear to discernment, from control to stewardship, from sacrifice to investment, from isolation to sanctuary. Section 5. Spiritual Vision and Christic Consciousness. Christic consciousness breathes unity without erasing distinction. Love unfolds as a field of radical inclusion anchored in radical clarity. A sovereign boundary inside this field is a chalice. The chalice does not deny wine. It contains wine so that celebration becomes possible. Compassion without sovereignty dissolves into martyrdom. Sovereignty without compassion calcifies into pride. The way of the heart invites a third path: open hand, strong spine, soft gaze. Ancient wisdom teaches that the temple must be purified before the flame is enthroned. Purification is not punishment, it is alignment. The throne is not domination, it is responsibility. When you say yes to your mission, the universe rearranges furniture. When you say no to misalignment, the universe dusts the altar. Angels and ancestors become logistics. Synchronicity becomes calendar. Silence becomes strategy. Christic love does not bypass conflict. It sanctifies conflict as a portal to greater truth. Christic love does not spiritualize overcommitment. It anoints rest as obedience to purpose. Christic love does not glamorize poverty of time, energy, or money. It multiplies loaves where coherence is honored. The mystic path expands vision. The human path sets timings. The sovereign path marries both. When you walk in this marriage, people feel safer around you. They sense the gate. They sense the garden. They sense the invitation. The garden welcomes what nourishes it. The gate bows to every soul at the threshold and delivers the right answer with unwavering grace. Section 6. Integrative Ritual. The Daily Sovereignty Liturgy. Morning Rite. 11 minutes. Sit facing a window. Left hand on heart, right hand on solar plexus. Breathe 4-7-8 for 5 cycles. Speak the sovereign decree. I consecrate my life energy to love, truth, and purpose. My yes creates gardens. My no creates rivers. My presence is sanctuary. Visualize a golden ring around your body, 2 palms length from the skin. See 3 gates: gate of time, gate of attention, gate of body. Set 1 rule per gate for the next 12 hours. Midday rite, boundary benediction. Place both feet firmly on the floor before any major agreement. 1 breath in through nose, long exhale through mouth. Speak the micro-consent, I choose with clarity, kindness, and consistency. Sign with the thumb to middle finger anchor. Evening rite, renegotiation and release. Write 3 lines. Today, I upheld. Today, I renegotiated. Today, I release. Close with the water seal. Pour a small glass of water. Whisper 1 limit you reclaim, and drink slowly with gratitude. Weekly Council. The Covenant Table. Choose a day and meet with your values like elders. Review commitments, money flows, screens, and speech. Offer 1 gift to the future self, such as a cleared admin task or a heartfelt message that aligns a relationship. Altar of Agreements. Place a small bowl, a candle, and a stone. Bowl for offerings and gratitude. Candle for presence and timelines. Stone for non-negotiables. Each time you set or uphold a boundary, touch the stone and say sovereign now. Nah. Templates, scripts, and mantras. The calm. No. Thank you for thinking of me. This does not align for me. At this time, I bless your project and wish it success. The loving limit. I value our connection. I am available on weekdays between 10 and 12 and 16 and 18. I honor this rhythm to give my best. The renegotiation. I agreed to X under Y conditions. My capacity and priorities have shifted. I propose A or B. I remain committed to goodwill. The sacred pause. I will respond after resting with this. I appreciate your patience. I value clarity over speed. Mantras. My time is a temple. My attention is currency. My body is a sanctuary. My words are contracts. My love is intelligent. Dairon. Applications in money, love, and collaboration. Money. Close the leak of vague pricing with transparent menus and blessing-based tiers. Protect creation time with calendar fences. Replace discounts born from guilt with scholarships born from strategy. Offer premium presence rather than endless access. Love. Share rhythms of availability. Clarify touch, pace, and shared rituals. Replace resentment with early truth. Keep wonder alive with dedicated novelty time. Collaboration. Codify roles, deadlines, and communication channels. Separate ideation time from decision time. Celebrate completed agreements with small rights. Exit gracefully when values diverge. Map of red flags and green flags. Red flags. Chronic urgency that bypasses consent. Praise contingent on self-abandonment. Humor used to deflect accountability. Advice that ignores timing and body signals. Green flags. Requests framed with context and options. Praise for clear limits. Debriefs after misattunements. Calendars that match words. De Villas, microsomatic library. Crown lengthening to evoke dignity. Tongue drop to soften defense. Pelvic bowl breath to lower reactivity. I soften to maintain connection while holding line. Heel rooting to summon grounded authority. Nervas, the covenant of 3-1. Clarity, names truth. 2. Compassion carries truth. 3. Consistency stabilizes truth. When these three travel together, relationships grow wealthy in trust. When anyone is missing, energy begins to leak. Place these 3 words at the entrance of your day. Place them at the entrance of your work. Place them at the entrance of your heart. The sovereign business field. Products birthed from essence rather than comparison hold a longer half-life. Boundaried delivery models protect quality and nervous systems. Policies written in plain blessing invite the right clients. Refund and reschedule windows are not fear, they are ceremony around time. Collaboration contracts, written as promises rather than punishments, feel like shared prayer. Zai. Practice. The 28-day inner cycle of sovereignty. Days 1 to 7. Purification. Reduce overstimulation. Close 1 leak per day. Hydrate the body as if it were a kiln tending sacred clay. Days 8 to 14. Decision. Choose 1 flagship boundary in time, 1 in attention, 1 in body. Announce them to 1 witness. Anchor with a tiny physical token. Days 15 to 21. Devotion. Ritualize your yes windows and no windows. Offer 1 act of generosity within your limits to prove abundance grows with structure. Days 22 to 28. Integration. Review, refine, and rest. Keep what works, bless what does not, and prepare a quiet celebration. Repeat with joy. Cycles teach depth. Depth teaches elegance. Elegance teaches trust. High-frequency closing. Aphorism. A boundary spoken in love multiplies the amount of love it can hold. 24-hour quantum challenge. Choose 1 active leak in time, money, or attention. Close it with a clear sentence and a gentle tone. Redirect the saved energy toward 1 act that amplifies your mission. Record 1 line of gratitude to seal the gate. Activation code. Sovereign now, clear and kind, riverbanks of light, prosperity aligned. Con amor, Andrew.